Hello and good morning. Thanks for clicking on my video. It's January here in North Wales. It's quite a cold day outside and I'm going to be spending most of the day chopping wood. So I'm going to make a nice chicken stew. So when I come in later, there'll be a nice hot meal waiting for me. I like to quite slow cook them, so it will take a good few hours, so it should time in about right. So what we got some chicken from the butcher's. It's already diced, that's handy. I've got some rice here, a little pot of rice. There's probably too much there, but you get the idea. So we've got a frying pan here. Some people call these skillets. In fact, most people seem to call them skillets. I don't call them frying pans. It's quite an old one. It's definitely 1800s of some kind, but it does me a good job. Whatever I cook in that, it always does a good job. We've got a cast iron, like small casserole dish there. It doesn't look very big, but you do get quite a bit of stew out of that. So I want some stew not only for when I come in later, but also I'm working underground and a slate mine tomorrow all day. So I want some extra as well, just so I can take that down with me in a thermos flask and it'll be nice and hot. It's a nice pick-me-up for lunch there. Right, so we've also got some oxo cubes, chicken oxo cubes for making it stock. And then we've got some vegetables. Let's talk about these briefly. We've got an onion, one onion's fine, a couple of carrots, great, and also some potatoes. Probably one about 4 or 5 of this sort of size. Obviously washed and peeled and then cut into little cubes, just little squares, maybe the size of dice, that sort of size. And obviously chopped up carrot and onion too. The first thing we need to do is cook the chicken. We're also going to need a dash of oil just to help the chicken cook. We'll just get that warm first. I'm going to take long in there. I'll just give that a minute or two. It's getting quite warm now. I'll just slosh the oil about a bit. Put some chicken in. Chicken's starting to look very nice now. Wish you could use like corn pieces or something if you're vegetarian or vegan. You don't have to use chicken. Chicken looks good. What I'm going to do now is just put it on top of the stove where it's a little bit cooler than inside. Because I'm going to go and chop up them vegetables now. Just leave that quietly sizzling away while I do that. Vegetables chopped, carrots, potatoes, onions. I think maybe I have too many. So if it doesn't fit nicely in the pan, I will keep some back and maybe make a vegetable stew later. So I'm going to put all this in the pan now on the chicken as well. But I need 2 hands to do that, so I'm going to put the camera down. Yes, I have too much. This pot is almost full. Let's put some rice in. Maybe that amount will do. So that's fine. So I've actually got chicken left and vegetables, so I can make another stew and have 2 pots on the go. Now I'm just going to put the water in here and fill it really as high as I can. But again, it's a 2-handed job. Water's in. Give it a little bit of a stir. It's looking all right. Do the oxo cubes now. It's quite heavy now. It's a bit difficult with one hand. I'm going to put that on the stove. What I'm also going to do is put on a nice cup of tea. So I come in later to a nice brew. To make proper tea, we're not going to bother with a teapot. We just put the tea straight into the kettle. Do you like my spoon? It's 1820s, made in Chester. I too was made in Chester. And return it to the stove. I'm going to leave that to stew for a little while. And this is an actual stew, which is also stewing. Well, it's been about an hour now, so I think it's time for a cup of tea. The stew's doing very well. So it'll be a little bit hot to hold, so I'm going to use a cloth. Okay. Actually, put the sugar in first. Or 2. This tea strain is, I can't remember, I think it's 1820s, it's very old. It's difficult to do this with one hand. Oh, that's a good colour. There we go. Some milk. Here's teaspoons 1770s. A silver spoon from London. So now I can have a rest with a nice cup of properly made tea. My stew's been cooking away there for a few hours now. It's time just to do a little bit of seasoning. So what I tend to do is just put a bit of pepper in, not too much. It's very easy to do too much. Some mixed herbs, always goes down well. Got some of this stuff. I won't pretend that I can pronounce the name, but it's basically Maggi that you can get in most supermarkets, especially on the continent. I'll bung a load of that in because that's really nice. Just a tiny bit of salt, not very much. That's plenty. I normally do just near the end is just put a little block of butter in it. Just might sound a bit weird, but it gives it a nice sort of, I don't know, it makes it a bit kind of creamy, I suppose. I'll just let that melt in. Well, here we are, the finished article. It's probably been boiling away for 6 or 7 hours or so, and now it's super thick. And it smells absolutely lovely. I'm sure it will be very nice. Nice lovely yummy chicken stew or casserole or whatever. And also I made earlier this lovely cob of brown bread. No, I didn't really make it. Came from the supermarket. I'm going to go and sit and eat this now. Thank you for watching my chicken stew video. Do please click the like button and subscribe, or leave a nice comment. Don't leave a horrible comment. I don't like those.